orientation. The men's restroom is on this side, and the women's restroom is on this side. Anything else to add? I'm live? Oh, okay. All right. So I guess we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and start with the behavior and code of conduct. And the reason I'm going to start with that is because we're going to let the kids go out and have fun. This is the only part they really need to hear. And it's just to make sure that they know the rules of Level Up before attending. And some of the kids that are here have attended, so it's a good refresher for them. Plus, kids don't pay the bills, so they don't need to know about billing stuff, right? Right? All right. It's going to seem like we have a lot of rules. I promise we go over the rules nearly every day, especially if we see repeat things being broken. We stop, repeat the rule. A lot of times kids need to hear things at least 3 times before remembering, so I don't expect everyone to remember everything. So first up, we want everyone to have a great time, and this is why we hold the orientation, is so that the kids can become familiar with the rules. We have pretty no-nonsense rules. We call them right time, right place rules. And the reason is because every activity we do, there's a right time and right place. For example, eating. We don't allow eating outside of snack time and lunch time. And the reason is because that is the right time and right place to eat. A lot of times if kids are sneaking food, they're doing it in the wrong place and at the wrong time. So a lot of our rules kind of go by that motto, right time, right place. This is really small. I'm just going to read from the projector. Sorry, I'm using Mr. Mark's phone to read the stuff off, and his screen is tiny. Our common sense rules: participants should notify team members if they're being harassed, bullied, or otherwise having some kind of behavior done to them that they do not like. And the reason we say that one first is because first and foremost, that is the most important thing here. And the kids who already attend can tell you that we nip it really fast. If it is not solved, we notify parents, and your child may be sent home if it continues. We don't allow kids to harass or bully each other here. This is not the kind of place. I'm just going to point. Everyone is expected to use appropriate language at all times. We don't allow kids to say shut up. We encourage them to use positive speaking terms, like please be quiet, or I don't like that you're being so loud, or can you please tone it down a little. If we hear students using what we call inappropriate language, whether it's a bad word or just kind of negative speaking, we will call them out, won't we? Students should raise their hand if they have a question or would like to add anything. And the reason that we do this is obviously because 40 kids and 1 adult speaking means that the adult can't be heard by everybody. We're actually really good at following school rules too here. So we like to make sure that the school rules follow into Level Up rules, and that way is kind of like a very consistent thing. And then we also ask that they remain silent and seated, meaning they don't come up raising their hand or just run up to us. We could be in the middle of class. A lot of times we record our classes. That way if somebody misses a day of summer camp or isn't here a week, they can still see the class on YouTube. But also it's polite. We assign all of our team members are assigned to different areas, which means also our campers are assigned to different areas. We split our campers into two groups, hexagon and triangle. Hexagon is 4th grade and above, and triangle is 3rd grade and below. The reason we do this is because the activities are targeted towards those age groups. We don't want to give a kindergartner some really heavy-duty coding to do, right? That would be ridiculous. So what we do is we try to gear a lot of our classes, even esports where we do gaming, towards the specific age group that the game is intended for, or even in robotics, what the robotics is intended for. Though I will say that the kids here actually do robotics that a lot of like college age students do, but we build on it. Participants are not allowed to leave their assigned area without adult permission, and this is also so that we make sure that they're not doing anything unsafe, and also so that if there's any kind of emergency, which we've never had here, you know, knock on wood, we can account for everybody very quickly. Another thing, participants are always expected to participate in every single activity we do here. If your child does not want to participate, we ask them, how would you feel if someone was holding up the class that you wanted to participate in? Because they were saying they didn't want to participate. It also is good for the morale of everybody to have everybody participate. And we've also had a lot of kids in the past tell us, well, I don't like that. But then once they do it, they're like, I love this. We all know those stubborn types. I've got 2 of them. Participants must have permission before touching or using any item that does not belong to them. We already tell parents, please don't bring Pokemon cards, please don't bring Lego, please don't bring electronics unless it is on the assigned days. Usually we'll mark it Pokemon Go. The only time we really let kids use their own electronics here is if they're doing Pokemon Go. And that's with a small group, usually on the field trip or at the park. What, sweetie? Okay. Other than that, we have plenty of electronics. We are games galore, computers galore, TVs galore. Kids don't need to bring their own stuff. We don't have the kids playing all day long, but during the appropriate times, they're able to use our electronics. And that also will leave a lot of headache-free parents because you don't have to worry about your kids breaking their electronics while they're here, electronics being stolen, etc. Participants are prohibited from touching Lego models they did not build. Amazingly enough, a lot of you, I know online you can't see, but a lot of you can see this awesome Lego city here. A lot of our students built their own businesses, and they're really awesome. However, some of them have become broken just from various kids touching them. It's always been our rule that, you know, we don't let kids really near the table unless they're showing somebody their build. And the reason for that is if you break a build that you didn't build, it's not going to be very likely that you can fix it. And then it also kind of diminishes the fact that these kids, they spend hours and hours and hours on their builds. To us, it's very important that we respect other people's privacy and property. So even though the Legos belong to Level Up, we still consider when a child builds something that is their build, not our Legos, if that makes sense. Until it's time to break them apart. Then we change the language to, that's our Legos and we got to break it. I'm sorry. But we do take pictures and we do awards at the end of each week so you guys can all see the builds that have been created. Participants are always expected to act safe. What we mean by that is we expect that kids are not going to be walking around like this and going like this. because what will happen, they'll hit somebody. If we see that somebody's doing that, we'll usually ask them hands up, which means wait, stop what you're doing, and refocus. Or we may just say, hey, stop, and then we'll go to hands up. Kind of just depends on how well we know your child. Because sometimes we can say, hey, stop, and we know that the kid will stop. Participants are prohibited from handling or using any item in a manner that would put themselves or others in danger. I'm going to use this example because it's the easiest one. It basically means don't pick up a Lego and throw it. Don't pick up a controller and throw it. Or swing it. Or do anything that may hurt somebody else or yourself. Because the Legos, they look harmless, but they're not, especially if you step on them. Oh, and we're barefoot in here during the day. So that whole Lego thing is very serious. Participants are expected to put their items where they belong after they are done using them. A lot of the kids here know very well that if they leave things out, it may end up in the lost and found. It may end up in the trash if it looks like trash to us. Best bet is to always put your items right back in your cubby after you're done using them. They'll all have their own cubbies. At the beginning of the week, we'll be labeling them. Usually we'll kind of let the kids choose. But we have triangle kids usually out here, which is third and below, and then hexagon in the hall over here. We also do the cubby system just because it's easier for the kids at pack-up time. They can just go grab their stuff and head right out. Participants are always expected to clean up after themselves when they can. This means at lunch, they're expected to pick up their trash. After they've raised their hand to ask to be dismissed, they'll pick up their trash, throw their trash away, and wash their hands. If there is any food residue on the table, they will either get the crumbs up and take those to the trash, or they'll ask an adult to come wipe their spot. We wipe all the spots anyway at the end of lunch, but we also know that kids will start playing in it and get really sticky. So we just kind of ask them to let us know before that happens. The staff members, that's Mr. Mark, myself, Mr. Stevens specifically. We do have a couple other counselors who are not here, but we are the main instructors. We always decide whether or not it should be in your child's ability to clean that mess up. If they say that they're not able to, we'll help them learn how to. We expect that by the time they're adults, they should be able to clean up any mess. So it's good to start now. Participants are required and encouraged to eat neatly over top of the table. And they're also not allowed to talk during lunch. I know this sounds very crazy to a lot of people, but we have actually witnessed kids choking because they have been talking while they're eating. For us, it's very important that everybody is safe, especially because when you're choking, you can't make noises. We want the kids to just remain quiet and not talk during lunch or snack. And this actually helps too with them focusing on eating over the table and not making a mess everywhere. If kids make a really big mess all over the floor, we do help them vacuum the area. We usually let them use this really, where's the Dyson? We let them use a very expensive vacuum to learn how to vacuum correctly. We are probably the only business with kids who will let your children touch very expensive items. And the reason is when you're an adult, you have to know how to handle expensive items. So somebody's got to do it, right? And And we fully expect there are going to be messes because kids get distracted easily. Next, Mr. Mark. Or should I ask for questions on this section? Does anyone have any questions on that section? There are kids with questions. What? Yes, ma'am. So kids can bring their phones, but they won't be allowed to walk around with them all day. They'll have to stay in their bag. They'll be able to come to us periodically and say, hey, can I see if my mom or dad or grandma or whoever they usually communicate with has messaged me? And we'll say, yeah, that's absolutely fine. The only time we tell them no is if it's like literally in the middle of class. We're in the middle of explaining something. Sometimes we do have kids who are like, so Miss Mark, can I go check my phone right now? And I'm just like, I'm mid-sentence, in the middle of the craft. Maybe after the craft would be a better time. We also do keep our phones on us. We all have watches. I know it seems like it takes us a little while to respond sometimes, and sometimes that's just simply because we're in the middle of class at the time. But we do get all of your notifications to our phones, text messages, Procare messages, emails, calls, except for when our call forwarding isn't working. So in all seriousness, your child shouldn't need to bring their phone for you to communicate with them because you're able to just let us know and we can relay messages to the kids. It also helps not disturb the overall flow of the day as well. Any other questions? Yes? You're going into fourth grade. So rising fourth grade would be in hexagon. So you're with the older kids. Yes, sweetie?
Are we gonna get free time to build something?
Yes, I will get there in a second. That's everybody's favorite part of the day, okay? It's even mine because I get to sit down and play video games with the kids. Who wouldn't love that? Any other questions on this? No? All right. All right. So here's where it gets a little bit tricky because a lot of kids are resistant to this, but then they figure out very quickly that they shouldn't do things that they shouldn't do. So we all make mistakes. But it's the actions we take afterwards that will make up for the behavior. If your child is especially on the wrong track, what we'll do is what's called community service. It's a way for your child to make up for negative actions with positive actions. And the reason we do this is to kind of refocus and recenter how they're feeling about everything. Participants are provided the tools and guidance by team members so that they can make positive decisions for the specific actions they can make to correct negative behavior. It could be something very, very simple, especially with young kids, like just organizing the shoe rack. We'll give them gloves and apron, and we'll organize things. We organize the bookshelf. Sometimes it's as simple as straightening up the chairs and tables in here. It's nothing crazy, y'all, I promise. Nobody's cleaning bathrooms. Participants that leave items in places they don't belong require 5 push-ups for items found on tables and 10 push-ups for items found on floors. Listen, y'all, if y'all want to keep your house clean, implement it. I promise it works. Your kids don't want to do push-ups. They will put all their stuff back. It's how we keep our facility very clean and tidy after a long day of kids being here. A lot of the kids are here for 10 or more hours. And a lot of you come in and you're like, how is it so clean in here still? That's how. Participants with minor behavior violations will be required to assist others with tasks. I already kind of went over that. Organizing shoes, organizing the bookshelf, straightening tables. Sometimes it's like, dusting something. It's nothing serious. Participants who are deemed a safety concern, we do remove from the group. They have to sit out. And usually we have them sit out just until they've calmed down and have been calm for, a little bit of time. So that we can make sure that they're not going to go back and just start doing some crazy stuff. Parents and legal guardians of participants are responsible for the service, repair, or replacement of any property belonging to any party that is damaged or broken by their participant. That means that if your child goes up and cuts somebody's lunchbox up, you will be required to replace it. We've never actually had that happen. That's just the first thing that popped in my head because that happened to me when I was a kid. Generally speaking, we have very, very few instances where students are even able to get their hands on somebody else's things because we do keep them very separated from our working areas. Also, we're pretty eyeballsy, meaning we're looking everywhere all the time. We've had very, very few thefts, very few people breaking things. We give kids expensive things, and here we are with a PS3, which some of you parents might know how old those are. So, we do pretty well here. But we also lay down the rules, which is why. Participants with behavioral concerns requiring supervision and attention beyond the expectations or ability of level-up team members may not be allowed to attend the program until the concerns are addressed or corrected. This means that if we have to constantly one-on-one with your child, meaning that they're having outbursts constantly and a team member has to be with them one-on-one through an entire day, and they're not able to do anything with other students, that's going to be what we consider not independent. We'll feel that your child may be better suited for a daycare program because we are not considered a daycare. We are a summer camp and after school. We reserve the right to suspend, expel, or discontinue services to any participant for any reason at any time, regardless of payments. And we also reserve the right to rescind any offers of return to programs for any reason at any time, regardless of payments made or prior agreements. This basically means if your child comes in and I don't know, what's a good example?
I would say we've had situations where we find out the situation and we put them on suspension, and then we found out more about the situation and that increased the severity. So at one point we may have told the child that you can come back after a suspension, but then after the more severe information came out, we ended up just expelling the child. So it's basically saying that we can find out more things. If we find out more things later on, we may say they just can't come back. And it keeps the atmosphere, the environment very gentle, very, very friendly, and very inviting to all kids.
Right. I will say too, we do have cameras up in our facility. Sometimes just simply looking at the cameras from a different angle will give us a completely different perspective of what's happened. We have cameras outside, cameras inside, and we also will speak to, we'll also ask the kids who may have been around the situation to tell us what they saw, as well to kind of verify what we're seeing.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure, go ahead.
We will say, though, that most of you here have come to us because you're looking for this kind of activity. Most of you might be in the IT field and that kind of stuff, and you're looking to get your kids involved in something like this, and usually that's going to be a person that is, the right fit for you. So the very fact that you're here means that you're probably a right fit for us.
Right. We actually haven't had to expel very many kids at all, and we've been open quite a while. Parents agree to hold Level Up harmless for any disciplinary actions made in regards to my participants, and agree to release Level Up of any liability in regards to such decisions. Meaning, if we expel your child and you can't find care afterwards, it's not our fault. That you understand that the decision was made because of actions your child made.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, most of the kids here that already go here know that we try to work with the kids, and that our motto is we don't want to punish, we want the behavior to stop. That's all we want. And usually, it only goes further if they don't stop the behavior. And it only goes further beyond that when we have parents that, we have them hitting somebody and they're saying, and they're not listening and that kind of stuff. So that's when what that refers to. That you have to understand we're trying to do the best for all the kids here, including your child, and that our decisions as far as, how we, the actions we take towards that, come with experience, understanding, and knowing that child as well.
Mr. Mark and I have been working with summer camps and after schools for over 10 years each. Even prior to opening Level Up, we were working at summer camps and after schools. So we've seen a lot of crazy stuff.
We will say this too, we can usually learn, we know different kids have different things, behaviors that show when they're about to start acting up. We're pretty good at identifying those in kids and stopping them before it even happens. And that can usually mean a child is starting to move around, maybe they're starting to talk or starting to hop. So we know that, okay, if you're exhibiting those things, we're gonna say, hey, calm down before you can get to the point where you can't get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. All right, any questions about this? Yes? What? So does your mom know robotics?
Well, she can learn probably, right?
Oh, it is? Okay. You guys were on the same wavelength there. Any other questions? No? Okay.
Answer to that question, I know if I can come in and learn some robotics.
That's in the works. Our belief is that coding is going to be the future in everything, so we're trying to make it more of a community center rather than just a.
Oh, I will say when we first opened, we did teach a lot of elderly adults how to use computers so that they could communicate with their grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So, okay. That was just a tidbit. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
Ned. Go ahead.
Last.
Rose?
They should go to conduct.
All right. This I have pretty much memorized because I drive a lot. Mr. Mark and I actually own Level Up. You'll see that most of the time we're the ones driving your kids because not that we don't have other competent drivers. We just feel like as parents we put extra care to make sure every single kid is buckled up. They're not allowed to unbuckle until we say they can unbuckle. They're not allowed to eat or drink in the vehicles. They are not allowed to change seats. Sometimes we'll even give them assigned seats in the vehicle, especially if we notice that we've got two kids who get particularly rowdy together. And we also are pretty strict on no talking in the vehicles. If we're okay with talking in the vehicles, like maybe it's like a 30-minute ride somewhere, which usually doesn't happen, but it has in the past, we will tell them they can lightly talk. And the reason for that is just it can be distracting to the drivers to have a lot of talking and movement happening. Students are not allowed to leave possessions in the vehicles, meaning if they leave water bottles, same principle, they will have to do push-ups to regain the item. And then also we don't allow them to have any other liquids other than water in the vehicles, because even though we say no eating and drinking, occasionally someone will be sly or need hydration, and at that point water is obviously best. Oh yeah, last thing. I don't usually have issues with this, so I always forget. Students are not allowed to change the temperature in the vehicles. Some of our vehicles have rear AC and heat controls. So students are not allowed to change those. They're not allowed to hit any buttons. They're not allowed to play with windows, which, I mean, that's harder to do on the van. But basically anything that could become a distraction or become broken, they're not allowed to do it. Any other examples of that? Oh, our van has ashtrays, and a lot of the students I know. Yeah. Some of the students like to play with them because they like swivel out. But we leave them in there because it looks kind of weird to have just an empty hole. So, it does, doesn't it? That's why I haven't taken them out. But we don't expect that your kids are going to be smoking, at all. That's not why those are there. And then, of course, same rules as here. Don't throw objects because it can hurt somebody or distract the driver. All right. Should we send the kids out for... We're going to go ahead and do a quick break, so if you need a refill on your snacks or drinks or anything, we're also going to let the kids go out and do laser tag if they would like to with Instructor Steven, which, just really quick, this is Instructor Steven, for those of you who don't know. He is our Pokemon TCG instructor, even though we're all obsessed with Pokemon.
So we're going to go, for everyone online, we're going to go on a quick 5-minute break.
Oh, yeah, online people, 5-minute break.
All right, we're going to be right back.
I saw you, but the light's really bright and making me sweaty, so I'm kind of just like...
We need more lights.
No, we don't need more lights. I'm sure I'm sweating up a storm. It's so hot.
Yeah, we're only doing a 5-minute break. We're going to go outside and eat that, and we're going to
We actually have to unplug right now because we have to and we also take jug, the big jug with us when we go on trips, and I put ice in there.
So what type of bottle do you?
We emphasize.
So honestly, I mean, they can bring like this size. A lot of the kids bring the ones that are like this tall and about like, about like that. Like that. See the purple one there?
Oh, yeah, okay.
About that size. A lot of the kids bring. A lot of them don't fill it up all the way though because we constantly have to do water. So I guess it's to keep it nice and cold.
We are.
No problem. So we keep the kids in small groups. So we leave it up to the parents because the CDC has told us that they don't need to. Especially since we spend a lot of time outside. We keep them separated. They're about 3 feet this way and about 3 feet this way, which is what they're telling us. So if parents would like their kids to wear masks, by all means, let us know. That way we can put your child dead on. Of course, we're vaccinated, so
Okay, yeah, I'll just ask. And secondly, are you full throughout the summer, or is there like a tag on week if somebody, like, so right now we have like a week, just to fill it out, right? So
you would just let us know.
okay, so you're not filled, well, I guess it's not.
So our wait list is like 1,000,000 miles long, but we require the parents or guardians to actually come to our facility before you can fully register.
Okay.
So we've got a bunch of people registered, but if you don't come to the tour, you can't even come.
Okay.
And I know a lot of you guys just heard me say that. The reason we require parents to come here is so that you can see our facility, meet us, see our personalities, and just make sure that it's going to work with your child or grandchild or anything like that. And Miss Tremaine, she will tell you 1,000,000 times over, we're very friendly, we're no nonsense, but some parents don't like that.
Right.
I'm not changing for anybody.
Right.
We're about to start laser tag in the picnic area over there. And there's a smaller white car, I believe, that's parked over there. Or we could use a discovery, boom, boom, all over the cars.
I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they did that. A lot of the other charter schools got out faster. Okay, yeah, you can do the rest.
Okay, so I got it now. Let's just whenever we are ready, go ahead. And this is gonna go all the way back over here.
Alright.
I'll be here right now.
Okay, perfect.
Is everybody back inside yet?
No, we're still waiting on one parent.
Okay, yeah, he went to go move the car.
I'm gonna grab water real
Yeah.
quick. Do you want one?
Sure. Anybody need water at all? A drink? See you guys? Yeah, awesome. Y'all look well hydrated. Okay, so we're gonna try to speed through most of this. So yeah, you're gonna do it this way, that way.
Oh, wait, where
Yeah, there you go.
did it go? Okay, there we go.
So we are a STEM-based camp. We do robotics, Lego-based building, Pokemon TCG, geek-centric arts and crafts. I'm sure many of you have seen those. Swimming and field trips and much more. And we go from K through 8th, which is what most of your kids should be in. So you can choose what weeks you want your kids to attend. If you don't want them to attend a certain weeks, just don't put it on a registration form. If you want to remove weeks, you just contact us to remove them. So it's not that you have to attend any set number of weeks or that they have to even be consecutive. They can be wherever you want them to be. The specific activities for those weeks are announced by the Monday of that week. It's because a lot of times with scheduling, a lot of times we don't know the numbers. We have cancellations that come through over the weekend, a lot of different things. So we try to leave everybody a chance so we can set it and then that Monday. But you'll have it by that Monday morning, and that's usually going to go over all the information, including where they're going, what we're doing each day, what you'll need to bring if it's anything special besides, your swim stuff or your daily stuff. And then we go through activities from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and usually that's from 9 a.m. straight through 3 p.m. We usually don't have any breaks in there at all except when we get done with summer camp. So they're going to be constantly moving, and that means there are not a lot of chances for for a child to be dropped off in between or anything else. So we'll also go over that in just a second. And then we call them upgrade hours. That's from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. You don't pay any additional for those. It's just those are hours that we use to do reading, math practice. They can tinker around with robotics kits, build, code. We call those that because they're upgrading themselves before they get back into the swing of things. So for any of you that thought maybe, okay, they won't have enough time to do Lego or robotics, those are the times, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. is for reading math practice. After that is for them to spend more time on those things when they need it. Because a lot of them do. So that the first slot of upgrade hours from 7 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. We start our Prodigy at 8 a.m. each day. So if you want them to participate in that, they need to be here by that time, or otherwise they'll lose time on that. Our Prodigy Competition is where all the kids here that have Prodigy accounts or have had one created, they're all in the same class and they're answering questions at one grade level above their current grade level. Okay, so the children that answer the most correct answers, or when it's a tie, the percentage will win a prize. And that's usually top 3. If there are more, we'll do top 5, 6, whatever it takes in order to capture the top kids. Okay, so if you want them to do that, then make sure they're here by 8 a.m. We do not do a program for reading this year. We used to do it with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library, but we've not since done that. But we do plan to do it next year. After that, of course, snack and orientation. We do a physical exercise activity every single day outside from 9:30 to 10:15. And then at 10:15, we roll into our first activity. That's when they're either going to be all together if it's something like Lego or arts and crafts, or they'll be separate if it's something like robotics, maybe a field trip. We try to separate them as much as possible so they're with, their kids, their age, their size and everything. But sometimes it's more efficient to do them all in one group, such as the case with arts and crafts when you've got lots of materials, and based on how many in your group, it's either going to be a lot if you do 2 groups leftover materials or a little if you do them all in one. So it allows us to do it more efficiently when we do certain activities together. But most of the time, it's going to be separate. Then we break for lunch, and then next is our activity 2. And we're going to go into the groupings in the next one too as well. Ms. Mara already discussed that earlier. And then from 2:30 to 3 p.m., our camp activities conclude. We debrief everybody. We go over what's going on next. We get them organized to head into our snack time at 3. and then our upgrade hours again from 3:45 to 6:30. Now, in period 3, that's usually a time to just relax and rest. Period 4 is when we usually have classes scheduled. That's from 4:30 to 5:30. Okay, so we do have Pokemon here from 4:30 to 5:30 each day, and on Friday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And that's a program that operates separate of summer camp, but there's no cost for it. So if you want to leave your kids from 4:30 to 5:30 for a Pokemon class during Wednesdays, they can stay for that. We supply everything for it, including cards and everything, decks, all that stuff. And on Friday from 5:30 to 7, we provide pizza. They do a league, battles, all that kind of thing. So if you want to participate in that, just make sure to leave them on Wednesday and Friday. And then we may add more activities during period 4 as time goes on.
I just wanted to add really quick.
Mhm.
Sorry, Mr. Mark. When we say like Pokemon on Friday from 5:30 to 7, I do want to note that generally the kids who participate in that are usually at least 2nd grade. That way they're able to read the cards. It does help with reading. Pokemon helps with reading, which is one of the reasons it is one of our programs here. But the kids do have to have a basic understanding of reading and at least know how to sound words out. We are able to help a limited amount with words and whatnot,
Mhm.
but they need to have that basic foundation for reading.
I would say,
to participate
yeah,
really well.
yeah. A first grader going into 2nd or a 2nd grader will usually have the ability to participate in that. Yeah.
All right, next.
Go back up real
Sorry.
quick. While we do accept participants as young as 4 years old, this is very important. They must be competent, meaning that able to use the bathroom by themselves, and independent, meaning that they will not, be devastated when you leave the facility. We have seen, yeah.
Like, everyone's looking at me.
Exactly. And pack a pair of extra clothes. It's extremely important, especially if your child is below the age of 6. They can be competent. All it takes is just one time. Maybe they didn't do it before they went on the van and were being transported somewhere. There are so many opportunities to where it can happen. So if you pack an extra pair of clothes, we find that if they're above 7, 8 years old, usually they're mostly past that. But we do encourage them to use the bathroom, to at least try before they leave the facility. But yeah, if they're 6 years or under, just pack one just in case. Yeah.
I actually recommend that everybody brings spare clothes because we have had middle schoolers slide in mud unintentionally.
too, yeah.
I wouldn't want to have mud all over me, even if I unintentionally slid in mud. So
Yeah.
we say 6 or younger, please bring the spare clothes, but we do recommend it for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even kids have just flat out spilt their juice all over themselves, and it can be kind of uncomfortable to sit in wet clothes because I have no way to dry them
Yeah.
other than a fan.
Those are good points. Good points.
All right. Anything else on the
No, we can go on.
All right.
So our basic weekly schedule is Monday is arts and crafts. We also do brick craft on that day. That's what we call our Lego-based building. Tuesday is our weekly activity, and that's usually going to be, this time Tuesday is Pokemon Go, the park, and our physical combat sports, which is laser tag and wizard's chess. Wednesday is our field trip. That usually occupies most of the day. If it doesn't, then we do brick craft to give them another chance to work on models. We also, on Thursday, we do robotics and esports. And then Friday will be their swimming. and then also the award show as well.
Tuesday's also Pokemon.
Yep, Tuesdays also Pokemon. On Fridays as well, around 2 o'clock on YouTube, you can see the award show. We'll show you their models. We'll talk about all that kind of stuff, and we also give out the team awards. So if you get on YouTube around 2 every Friday, you'll see or on our page, you'll see the award
And
show.
if you're not able to, it'll be posted up for you to watch later if you would like to.
Exactly, on Facebook as well. Yeah. So our ratio is 1 to 10 or 1 to 15. It really depends upon the activity. We do not go over 1 to 15 usually though, because it presents a difficulty when it comes to things like robotics, because you need a robotics instructor able to work with the number of kids, and usually for me that's about 1 to 16 and whatnot. Any more than that is going to be too much of a load. So we limit a lot of the activities, the ratio, based on what it is. If it's something like laser tag outside, that's easy to handle, 20 plus kids doing that. Coding, not so much. So our groups are triangle and hexagon, with rising 3rd grade and lower, 4th grade and higher. The 3rd grade is like a period in a kid's life where they're transitioning from being an older kid from a younger kid. So usually we'll try to, if they got the aptitude for it, we'll try to put them in the hexagon group, or sometimes we need to pull a 4th grader back down to triangle. It really just depends on their individual development. Each child is different, so we try to keep them in those categories, but sometimes it may be necessary to move them up or down. And then also we may cancel field trips or indoor swimming if it's lightning and thunder outside. We usually only cancel if the place we're going to cancels. And then courteous considerations, make sure we know if your child's going to be here late as soon as you know. We can plan, we can sometimes work things out. And then also if they're not going to be here at all, or if you don't plan to attend a week, let us know as soon as you know. We can get that spot open for somebody else. Yeah.
I have a question. So for the swimming day, where do they go? Just out of curiosity. And also, are they able to change their clothes once they're finished swimming?
Exactly. Yeah. So we attend Sardis Forest Swim Club. We have the entire pool reserved. We also have lifeguards on duty as well, and there also is a place for them to change their clothes. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Do we need to, for transportation, provide booster seats?
Yes, if you would like your child to ride in a booster seat, then you must bring it in order for them to ride in it. We have very limited booster seats, and usually those are more for like after school. But yeah, if you need a booster seat, make sure you bring it. Otherwise, we may not be able to provide one at all. Yes.
What type of activities do you do on the swimming day?
On the swimming day, it's mostly games in the pool.
It's not like swimming classes.
No, it's not swimming classes. No. And we do also have them separated into 2 areas of the pool that are roped off. They have to pass a swim test before they can go into the deep end. Otherwise, the ones that cannot swim are isolated to the shallow end.
How big is the pool?
It goes up to about, I think, 10, 12 feet?
On the deep end.
Yeah.
There's a diving board, y'all. So they usually have like 5 lifeguards out there. Usually me, I'll be out just walking around the pool and looking out into the pool. Mr. Mark, Mr. Steven, and our other counselors are in the pool with the kids, just to have kind of quicker reaction time if anything should happen, which nothing has ever happened with us. We lay out the swimming rules very firmly with the kids, that they're not allowed to grab on each other, touch each other, splash each other, etc. while they're in the pool. And I know that may seem a little bit not fun to say no splashing, but we always tell the kids, you don't know everybody's swimming ability. If you splash somebody who doesn't know how to swim very well, it could make them go under the water. So we're very firm about that. The kids, after they're done swimming, They are able to shower if you feel your child can independently shower. That's absolutely fine. They can. If you prefer that they don't, they're able to go into a stall with a door where they can change their clothes completely.
Yeah, the process we had last year was they would rinse off and then take their clothes into the stall, change, come out.
Exactly.
Yeah. With, of course, an adult yelling at them to be quick.
How shallow is the shallow?
The shallow end
It's
goes.
3 feet, but there's also a splash pad at the pool.
I thought it was
Daddy, I got boo boo.
Oh my God.
I'm bleeding.
Oh, thank you very much. Go over to him, at least.
For those of you who don't know, this is our daughter Arrow. Come here.
Yeah.
You're fine. Let's get you cleaned up.
I'm gonna move this down just real quick. Alrighty, so next up is the billing and cancellation policies. So tuition is invoiced or billed on the Tuesday before the weeks your participant is registered to attend. That means that for this coming week, it was supposed to be invoiced on Tuesday, but most of you should have received it on Thursday if you're signed up for next week. But in the future, that'll go out to you on Tuesday. And then it's due by the Friday before those weeks. That is to give us time that if anybody needs to change anything, we can cancel it out, we can add it back in before we finalize everything on Friday. The system that we used to register was designed by me, and so it puts it in there very, very easily to where I can take it out and take it back in. As long as I'm receiving notification before we close here, I can take it out within a number of seconds. So it's not like a lot of other summer camps where it goes through a process. I can do it right away. It's payable through the, and tuition is payable through the Procare App and on the website using a debit card, credit card, or bank account. We highly encourage all parents here to use the Procare App for timely and convenient payments. It's more efficient. It makes it easier on us. We don't have somebody dedicated to just billing and all that kind of stuff. It's honestly just me doing the entire administrative part with Miss Mara of this business. So if the more that we can automate and get things done off of our plate, the more we can focus on developing new things for the kids. And since my specialty is in IT and whatnot, I've got pretty much most things in this process automated. So if you're just able to work with me, we can get it all done fast. Before payment is due on Friday, June 11th. If it declines, there's a $15 processing fee. This is one part right here. If the non-payment of tuition and other fees, we'll reserve your participant spot for the weeks indicated on your registration form as long as payment for each upcoming registered week is made in advance. If it's not received and you have not contacted us to make an arrangement, it will be put on the camper's count as a balance. The reason is our camp is based all around getting things done on the numbers so we can keep costs low here and we can keep the quality high. That's honestly my specialty. I've done supply chain, operations management, and that kind of stuff. I know how to keep the cost here low, but it makes it go up if people are not notifying us. That's where I pinpointed the amount of cost of our camp was increasing. If you just notify us of not being able to or needing or even a card being deactivated, stuff like that, if you notify us, everything goes through smoothly. If not, that's where we have problems. And then at the same time, that is occupying a spot in our camp, and that's a spot that another child cannot go to. In the past, we have never seen the kind of demand that we saw this year, and there is a waiting list. It's pretty deep. So if you won't be able to attend or you don't want to attend, please let us know so we can, invite somebody else to come attend in those weeks. It's no longer considered reserved, and it goes out to the wait list in the general public. They will not be allowed to attend camp until payment is received or we have an arrangement made. A lot of our clients here can tell you that we are extremely flexible and understanding with most things. We want the kids to here have a great time, and billing is secondary to that. It does facilitate what we do here, but it is not the focus and should not be the focus of a child care facility. So that's why if you need anything from us, just let us know. We're willing to work with most people. It's us here as the owners and everything, and we don't have some big giant corporate thing to go through. So just let us know, and we can pretty much we can work with you. And then if you don't, any unpaid fees after 3 months will be billed and taken into collections. Okay, we can move on. Any questions on that part at all? All right, thank you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Cash?
Hmm?
To cash?
We do, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep, so cash payment, you'll give directly to Mr. Mark or myself. We put a notation of who it's from, and then we apply it to your account, so you'll see the balance come off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Provide receipts.
Yes,
Mhm.
you'll
Yes,
get a
sir.
receipt for the payment.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just wanna get an understanding, so drop off is between 7 and 9, and
Mhm.
pick up is no later than 6:30?
No later than 6:30. Yeah, and we recommend leave them here at least until about 3:30, 4:30 each day. That way they can get because we do a lot of things after summer camp is over, and a lot of times we do not do video games during summer camp time unless it's on Thursday, so they won't be able to play any of this unless they're staying after.
So if we registered online, how are we sure we ended up in the camps the weeks that we
Yeah.
registered?
So the way the system works, and it doesn't show, like, it's not a client facing, it's internal. So what it does is that, if you can imagine your weeks being in blue, and it slots them down based on when you enroll. When you complete your tour, those turn green, and green goes in front of all the blues. So as long as you complete your tour, you can pass up everybody who has not done a tour. And it's meant to make sure that, one, they're not registering for summer camps all around town with no intention to attend any of them, because people will do that. They'll reserve spots in so many different summer camps until they've decided where they want to go. That's why if they're going to come in for a tour, usually that will eliminate the what do you call them, or spot savers or whatever. Yeah. And then number 2, it makes sure that Level Up is a good fit. Not all kids will want to be at Level Up. We had one kid that came here and said, I don't want to go here. I like to do football and all that kind of stuff. We do physical activities, and we spend a lot of time outside too. But some kids just don't like what we offer. So bringing them in will allow them to see what we offer, and for them and the parents too to be able to meet us, to make a decision and find out if it's the right fit. Yeah, because there's nothing worse than a sad child who doesn't want to be here, and at the same time, that's where you get your non-participating kids from. They're not here because they want to be here. Sometimes they're here for care. Sometimes they're here only because they just need to play. So we want to make sure those spots are for the kids that actually want to come here. Yes, ma'am?
And just to piggyback to asking a question off of that, so I brought one child thinking it was mostly Lego, kind of thing,
Mhm.
but then I'm thinking I have another child that might love this.
Mhm.
So would I be able to tack them on possibly?
You would be able to, because you've come in to the facility. It's just a matter of not coming in at all. You have had no contact with Level Up besides the website, and that's what we don't want. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So the way the Procare is set up, can we hypothetically say, hey, I will do this week in July and the 2 weeks in August,
Mm-hmm.
like reserve the spot on those 3 separate weeks and prepay in advance and be done, or do we have to wait the week?
We prefer, while we appreciate prepayment, we prefer that you wait until that Tuesday to Friday period, and it's because we've had people that have prepaid and then found out later on and won't be there. That causes a refund or a transfer. It poses extra steps. Whereas if I keep it the other way, all I have to do is do 2 clicks and we're done. Yeah. You're not going to lose a spot at all. Yeah, that part of it is trusting you and make sure that we have accurate numbers for each week, because honestly, the parents are the only ones that can determine what our numbers are. You know, so yeah.
Did you have a question as well?
Just one last question.
Mhm.
Just to confirm, anytime after 9 o'clock is considered late?
Yes. Yeah. And we made an example of the pool too. We start leaving here, getting ready to go right at 9. And we had a person that arrived here at like 9:05. And we were gone. And then they took them to the pool, and we had already allocated the vehicles to that number of kids, so we don't waste gas and all that kind of stuff. And so that child didn't have a space on the vehicle. But we could have adjusted the vehicles had they just told us they were going to be late. Yeah. So, I mean, like, it really is like a cost-conscious camp. Like, we don't try to waste anything. Yeah.
Cost-conscious. In the meaning that we try to keep our rates low by making sure that every little thing that we do is efficient. Because I mean, we use brand Lego and have, $800 PS5s.
What I found, and I'll give you some context too, what I found when studying a lot of different childcare and summer camps is that a lot of their costs were based in planning for a number of kids they didn't have. So if you take that and you talk about that each month, you are losing a lot of money for just planning purposes. So if we cut that down, that's what allows us to do all the quality things. We're shifting that cost away from like empty planning over to quality. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes?
So you said that you guys require the parents to do a tour or come in.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that this time counts. for-
Exactly. Yes.
We didn't sign an attendance or anything, so how do you guys know which parents?
You'll check in with us as soon as we're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So cancellation policy. And also too, we don't tell. Back to your point, we don't tell any of the parents that haven't contacted us about the tour requirement. So if you're calling and asking to do a tour and they say, "Oh yes, I know," then that's going to be an indication too. So even if you were here and left, well, there's still ways for us to find out if you've done a tour, especially with cameras too. Anyway, but yeah. Cancellation policy, we already went over that. Just let us know as soon as you know, and by the Thursday before. Refund and invoices due policy, there are no refunds. But if you paid for a week, they weren't able to attend, we will roll that forward, minus the fee for the activity fee. And then if you don't get a chance to use it during the summer, and you want to do after school here, we'll roll it forward to that. Or even a birthday party. It's just that refunding is a process in all of itself, and that impacts cost too.
It's not like refunding at Target.
Yeah.
I promise it's not
Yeah.
at all.
So they can be dropped off as early as 7 a.m., picked up as late as 6:30 p.m. Use the Procare app to sign your child in and out each day. As soon as you get on site, open your Procare app. There is a little QR code looking button near the top right corner. If you hit that, it'll ask you for permissions for a location if it's your first time. And then it'll say, it looks like you're on site. Do you want to sign your child in? And that's how you do it. If you have a person coming to pick up your child, they'll need to sign in and out using our app kiosk. And we'll bring them a tablet that they can meet us there, and they'll enter their code and get them signed out. And now they'll have to also present their ID when they come as well. And you have that code for each person that you authorize within your Procare app, and you can check on it by clicking on their name in your authorized pickups list. And then also you can call ahead of time if you want us to get them ready to go. When you are here and you check them out, it's going to give us a notification that they've been checked out, and then that's how we usually know to bring them outside. We'll also see a notification on our watches as well when they're ready to it's time to go. When you come up to the door and you ring the doorbell, we'll hear it in here as well. But what we don't want to do is send the child out by themselves and then they walk down to the parking lot. There shouldn't be any children in the parking lot unaccompanied, because we don't know a lot of times who's coming down through there or how fast, so we want to make sure they're with an adult. We do block off this parking lot during games, and we are trying to get a gate put up out there for us exclusively, and that's in the works. But yes, walk them back and forth through the lot, and then we can walk them out to your car, or you can come up and you can release them that way.
Just to be sure, the signing up process, before we even take them out physically, we sign them up on
Exactly.
and you're ready.
Yeah.
So that's what we noticed.
Exactly. That's a very good point. They will not be released unless they're signed out. It's to make sure that we get that signature and we know who's getting them, who's signing them out. Yes, ma'am.
If we drop them off at 7, do we provide breakfast for them, or is that?
You will provide breakfast for them. We don't have a breakfast program. We had a lunch program in the past. That's one we're trying to reinitiate this year. If we do get that, it won't be any additional charges. But yeah, you will need to pack breakfast. They will only release the parent guardians listed. If someone comes that's not on your list, we'll try to call you on every single line we can. We'll even try to message you on the app. If we can't get in touch with you, we will not be able to release them.
Sorry, I just wanted to add really quick. I'm sorry, Mr. Mark. Even if somebody is on your pickup list, if parents or primary guardians won't be picking up, even if they're on your pickup list, please let us know. We've had some confusion where one of the students' grandmas came to get him, and then his dad came to get him, and it was like everybody was confused on who was supposed to have him. So for us, it's best if parents or primary guardians let us know if someone other than like mom or dad or grandma is coming to get them.
We've also had a situation where they'll come and they'll send up like their child or somebody else, and we're like, you're not this person. What's going on here? So, yeah, just let them know. Add them to the Procare app. You can do that at any time. Even if they're on the way, you can just add them to the Procare app and we'll get it. Late drop off, we've already been over that. I think make us aware if you're going to be late. Partial attendance and absence. It's very important that they attend the activity hours. We had one child before, we tried doing 3 days during the week. He didn't even know we did Lego at all. And the thing is that a lot of kids come here for very specific activities, and if they're coming or they're missing certain days, you're going to know it because they won't even be exposed to it. So it's important that they're there so they don't get a warped view of what summer camp is at Level Up, and that can lead to a lot of disappointment, because if you can imagine a kid that just loves robotics comes to a camp but he can't come on Thursday. That would be like, then what's the point of really, coming here? So just make sure that you can get them here for the full activity hours. Okay, let's go ahead and go on. Late pickup policy. So if we have a 15-minute grace period, and as long as you call us within that window or pick them up within that window, there are no late fees. We have never charged anybody here a late pickup fee at all, period. Most of our parents have been very good about communication when they're late or they're here before 6:30. So we want to keep it that way, and we want to make that a record that we don't charge our, parents late fees. Kind of like Blockbuster before they went out of business. But all right. So, but yeah, just communicate with us, and let us know if it'll be late.
We always say no late fees as long as you pick up before 7, but I mean, we understand, especially with Independence right here. Mr. Mark is from this area. I came here from Baltimore. We know that if there's an accident, you can be in traffic here for 2-3 hours. Oh, sometimes more. We have had parents who are single parents who have ended up in the hospital, and it's taken a couple of hours for somebody to come get their child. We're incredibly understanding. Mr. Mark and I were parents ourselves. What?
Our parents.
That's what I said.
I
Right?
said we're. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
We are currently. We've been in situations where, we've been stuck in traffic, and if we didn't work for, an after school ourselves, we would have been kind of like really messed up, especially with a lot of daycares in the area. They charge like $1 a minute. We're I don't know, you guys know. How do we put it? Like, we try to be so fair with people. We understand things happen. Our key thing is just communicate with us. Like, that's literally all we ask.
And that's what the Procare App is for.
And yes.
Yeah. Preparing for camp. Make sure they're wearing their camp t-shirt on the field trip and swimming days in the park. We don't have the camp t-shirts for today because of a shipping delay in those, but we should have them before this Wednesday, which is the first day that they will need to use it. And we're going to distribute that to all of you, just so they actually get home with it. They create a feeling of camaraderie and friendship. They're all wearing the same thing. Many of you that attend charter schools know the same feeling that a uniform makes, the difference it makes for a student when they're looking at everybody else and they're all wearing the same thing. So that's what we want to bring here as well. We want to enforce that feeling that they're here with a group, a team, not as individuals. And then wear clothing appropriate for the weather and the environment. We go outside every single day, so it's important that you wear something they can be outside in. Do bring lunch unless you receive notice that we're going to be starting our meal program. And then 2 snacks as well. Did we decide upon providing snacks or no?
No.
Was that a part of the meal program too?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
okay.
program had snacks. I will say we say bring 2 snacks. We also have a community snack basket thing. It's become 3 baskets, but if you would like to donate snacks to that and just have your child pick from that, sometimes what happens, a couple of the parents in here know very well, their kid decides they like Rice Krispies one day and the next day they hate Rice Krispies. So we have kind of a few baskets. If your child doesn't have a snack, regardless of donation to the snack baskets, we give them a snack. Unless you're like, don't give Johnny a snack, or else. Kids get really cranky when they haven't eaten, so that's kind of why we started that. But we definitely appreciate donations. You can give actual snacks, cash, Venmo, because I go out and get snacks for the kids. Usually they tell me, can you get blah blah blah. Please don't send M&Ms or candy. I won't give it to the kids.
I personally prefer donations. That's why I'm gonna pick anything. So yeah, if you want to donate snacks, that's all good here. Yeah. Yeah. any necessary eating utensils, a reusable water bottle, and then the microwave food takes a long time to make. We'll have 2 microwaves here. We're upgrading that from last year, but they can still take a long time. So try to avoid, if all possible, food that should be microwaved.
And also, sorry, I'm sorry, Mr. Mark. I always think of things that he doesn't say, but if we're going on field trips, sometimes we eat lunch at the field trip, or we go to the park to eat lunch, especially if it's a super nice breezy day. We'll go to the park and have lunch at the park. The Sportsplex is 2 minutes from here. The kids can eat lunch and then go play. There are no microwaves there, which means that hopefully I'm not doing a class right before that, because usually I'm the one who heats up all of the food. With that said, it kind of makes it a little bit difficult, especially those little mac and cheese cups. They take 3 minutes and 30 seconds for each one. And let me tell you, last summer we had 12 of them in one day.
Yeah, the last kid got their meal 30 minutes after.
It was so terrible.
That's why that's in there for. Specifically because that creates such a crazy problem that
I was just like, whose mac and cheese was this one?
So don't bring Lego and other toys, of course. We went over that earlier. And digital devices, honestly, I'm going to tell you this. It's best to just not bring them. They can get broken. Kids can do all kinds of inappropriate things here with them. It's best to just leave them at home. We've got all of our computers monitored, and we can show you how to do the same thing to your computers at home as well. I know a lot like that. But yeah, everything here is locked down. So if you bring that device, that's going to create the breach. So unless they need it for something like contacting you for, just whatever it is, they probably shouldn't bring it, because it's only going to be a distraction, and that, honestly, that takes them away from other kids too. Because a lot of them get really into it, they're focused into it, and when they're here, it's about socializing with other people, not about being on your own. So I would say stay away from it, and even your daughter will tell me, she doesn't like having the device here either, because if she feels like it draws her away when she doesn't want to be. So storage of participant possessions. So they will be provided a cubby, and they're responsible for making sure their trash is thrown away and that they have all of their stuff. And that's really important because we get a big hulking container full of lost and found almost every single year. We've been trying to develop new systems to make sure we don't get any. So far last week we didn't have any lost and found, which is good. So we're implementing that now, where every single time we do a transition, we're asking, whose is this? Whose is this? Put it away. We're reminding them all the time. But please make sure to remind them that when they're leaving each day, let's go ahead and take it home. What's in your cubby? Are you missing anything? Or maybe even write down a list of what they brought with them. That way they can check it off when they leave. And then lost possessions, only bring what's necessary. Label everything. Report missing items, because we can send out a message to all the parents. We can post it on Facebook. We can communicate that to everybody, so someone, if you're missing it, someone can find it. We had one child that got their shoes taken home. They got a mix-up with them in those things.
They were 2 different sizes, and we're not sure how it happened, but the younger kid took home shoes that were literally 4 sizes bigger.
Yeah, it was.
So imagine the middle schooler's surprise when the shoes were 4 sizes too small.
Yeah. And so, of course,
You just outed her.
and of course, due to how summer camp is organized, we cannot be responsible for recovering anything. 40 kids, all kinds of items. Just make sure that they know what to bring. If anything, strap it to them. I don't know, but just make sure they come back home with it. We try our best, but that's why we say don't bring devices, because those are the things that get lost the easiest. I don't know why. It's the thing they crave, but they get lost. So, yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
We had one student literally lost her AirPods every day, and I finally just had to tell mom, stop bringing the AirPods. We don't need AirPods.
It got to a point too where they lost them and they were in their backpack. Like that's once you start losing things, you don't even know where they're at anymore, and that can happen to you. Yeah.
Sorry.
So this is really quick. Make sure their swimsuit is on underneath their clothes before they come, and that they have sunscreen on before they come if they need it. Bring floaties, bring a towel, of course, a change of clothes, and then a plastic bag to put their wet items in. That's probably one of the most important things, because as you all know, those wet clothes got to go somewhere. If they're not in the bag, they're going to be on the floor, on the chairs. So, yeah, make sure that bag is there. If they don't, we usually do a check, though, to make sure they have one before we leave, and we'll provide them a bag. But it's best if that check is done before they even leave the house.
I will note too, while a shopping bag is great, if you want to be a little bit extra like me, I usually bring a gallon-sized Ziploc bag with my daughter's names. And my gosh, I know exactly what we brought, but somehow our oldest seems to lose her bag every time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we'll also have Level Up drawstring bags available for
I don't have
purchase.
I don't think Maddie has.
You can go back and grab one. I can continue on while you're grabbing that
Okay,
and
I'll
everything. So yep. Also bring sunscreen.
Oh, I need my keys, don't I? Sorry.
All right. So this is the part we're looking at as far as COVID goes. All right. So we are unable to provide care for sick participants and encourage parents to keep them at home if they show any sort of illness. If they are found to be showing signs of illness, they will be considered unable to participate and will be quarantined as a precaution for the health of other participants, and we will be contacted to pick up the participant. So we're not playing around when it comes to illness. Please, please, please don't drop them off if they have any signs of illness. And there's also a question when we drop them off that says, does your child have any signs of fever? And that is defined as a temperature of 100.4. So just make sure that you're just answering things truthfully, because it can put our whole camp out if a child is sick and then it goes to everybody else. So please, please, please keep them at home if they don't. They showed signs of illness. Minor injuries like cuts and scrapes will be treated by a team member with standard first aid procedures. In case of injuries or illness that require immediate medical attention and not treatable, we will try to contact you directly. And if we cannot contact you, then we'll go ahead and proceed to take them to the hospital or obtain emergency care.
Can I ask what the
Mask? Yeah, so we are encouraging kids to wear a mask. That's number one. We are not requiring kids to wear a mask. That's number two. With our camp, we've had to make the decision over looking at it over the past year or so, going through it and everything. Kids are very, very hard to maintain, especially with the mask on. One, it causes them agitation. It makes them upset automatically. We saw a rise in aggression in our program just during COVID and just when the kids were wearing a mask. We have also not had any cases of sickness here at all. We keep the place very, very clean, vacuumed, and in order. So nothing is going to be resting anywhere. At the same time, we can encourage a child to wear a mask all we want, but that does not mean they will wear it. And if you can imagine the maintenance of that, trying to get kids to wear a mask, and it's not their intention not to wear it. A lot of times it's just that it bothers them. And so we've had to make that decision to just say we will encourage, we will respect each of you and your wishes for your child and their mask, but we will not require it or punish them for not wearing a mask. Yes, ma'am.
Are face shields acceptable?
Face shields are acceptable. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that is totally different. Kids feel like the RoboCop when they wear that kind of stuff. It's just the mask. It prevents them from breathing. A lot of times, it gets very, 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 very wet for a lot of young kids.
Well,
So
you
and
start sucking on them or biting them.
exactly, and then when you're talking about moisture that has been sitting there for a while and bacteria, and they're breathing that back in and everything, you're talking about also changing mask out all throughout the day for kids that are breathing in, with those wet masks. So, yeah.
Do you have your blue phone with the laser tag stuff? Steven's phone died.
No. We're about to come back in anyway. This is the
Okay,
last
okay.
part right here.
Okay. Well, here's
Okay,
the Pokemon
yeah.
bag.
This is one of the bags we do. We do custom vinyls and design. Miss Mara does custom vinyls and designs. And then there's the choice of 3 different colors: blue, purple, and black. And yeah, so we'll do their name on them. We'll do a little graphic for them, whatever they want. Usually whatever they want, as long as it's within reason. And
We're not going to do anything inappropriate.
yeah, but yeah.
And the ones that I usually do for summer camp have our regular logo.
Yeah.
I may put our we have a special edition logo for this year, so if the kids want that instead, they can request it.
Yeah.
And I do put their names on each bag. It may seem silly, but I don't know how many times kids have just left their bag at the pool. If I pick it up, it's got their name on it. I know exactly who it goes to. I don't have to go through all their stuff and go, all right, who has these shorts?
Yeah. As well, we have Level Up playmats. These were made for the Pokemon trading card game to help our kids learn how to play it. But they're very, very good for Lego building. I use these all the time because the pieces will not roll off. They stay together. It's a whole lot easier to get the pieces off the play table. So if you're interested in any of these as well, those are ones. Yeah. All right.
Comes with the bag, you get the bag, right?
You can order them together.
Exactly.
That is,
Yeah.
That's an option.
Yeah.
But the bags are $15. That's the bag getting their name on it. And if it's okay with you, we'll let your child choose what color their name is. Some of the girls like to get the glittery colors, so.
Yeah.
So how do we order it? Procare?
You could just let us know, message us in Procare
Yeah.
with the name you would like.
It'll be Mara at levelupinstem.com. Miss Mara will manage all those bag orders because she makes those by hand and everything. So if we cannot treat them with first aid here, we're gonna take them and get emergency treatment. And then for any person that has an emergency illness or they're injured and require emergency medical attention, we will be filing a report for that. Medication and allergies should be administered at home if possible. Okay, and then if they need it here, that's going to be given to us when you get here so we can put it somewhere secure and safe. All right? Let's see. And then let us know if anything changes as far as your medication goes. Yes, sir.
So does that mean during field trips, you might just keep the EpiPen with you guys?
Exactly. Yeah, we'll be taking the bag with us for anybody that needs medication or things like that while on the road. All right. All right, and then we're back to where we started. All righty, we are done for today. Anybody that needs to complete any sort of registration things and that kind of stuff, I will set up an area in the robotics room on this side of the building, so we can get that taken care of. You are welcome to sort of float around, level up, look at different things. Please don't touch it if you didn't build it. All right. Is that right, Arrow? All right. And that is going to conclude orientation. Thank you for coming, everybody. Appreciate all of you.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm the one I think I talked to you on the phone with my boys, and it took me 2 more days to do Procare. Is there any, since we were able to all 4 of us make it today, is there any way that they can start in 2 days?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's look at their thing real quick.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna grab my computer real quick, and then I'm gonna head over to that. Yeah, all you need to do is just submit the registration. Yeah, go to the website and then submit. Yeah. The web, level up in the same document. And the registration